with a shout. Help me welcome Dr. Frank Ofosu Appiah.
Thank you. You may be seated. Good afternoon, Ghana. Oh, Pastor Brian, do people respond when you greet them on Wednesday afternoons? Good afternoon, Ghana. I don't feel love at all. Let me try it over here. Good afternoon, Ghana. Good. If you don't respond, I'm going to keep you here till hunger kills you. But it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, Pastor Brian. You know, I wouldn't miss this for anything. Like he said, I came in last night. So if somewhere during my presentation I start talking nonsense, it's because I'm jet lagged. Better people will come and correct all my mistakes for me. But it's a pleasure. And thank you all, the entire and Cozy, for wonderful. I was telling her, I was listening in the car. It's tremendous. We must learn to really celebrate our own. My God, you are such an amazing. But then the next, the Guba in America, you know, I'll write you a letter. Okay, nice letter. But thank you all, great people. I'm going to take the next 20, 25 minutes just to add a little building block to whatever is going on here. You've heard tremendous presenters. Listen, one of the things that you've got to understand in this life is that the best education you ever have may not be in a classroom setting. The best education you are going to have may not be in a classroom setting. The classroom setting has this formality, bricks and mortar, chalkboards or whatever we use, but many times you are educated by people's stories. People who are willing to tell you about their fears, their failures, their triumphs, their successes, their pain. These are things that you cannot get from any store. You can't walk into Malcolm and buy 7 years of experience. Many times, other people's experiences. Somebody told me the other day, I want to learn from experience. I said, it's fine, but what if you don't survive your experience? I like to learn from other people's experience. It's very important that you get that. So the stories that we tell, the examples that we give, we want to expose you to the possibility that you can do the same thing. Because sometimes the biggest favor that you can ever have in life is to have the favor of exposure. Because once you get exposed, nobody can unexpose you. Once you get exposed, it expands your expectations. It tells you that you can do the same thing. So again, Pastor Brian and your team, I thank you very much. EcoBank and all the sponsors, God richly bless you. The volunteers, media, everybody, you are doing tremendous. And we thank God for your lives. Now, please listen to me, iYES Ghana. We are all in the same space right now. We are all in the same space, but we are not all in the same place. I'm going to repeat it. We are all in the same space in this auditorium, but we are not all in the same place. I want you to be in a place where nobody else is, where you are by yourself, connecting to the information, the wisdom, the mentoring, the coaching that is coming to you. Because somebody is going to leave here after 3 days. There is not a prophecy, I'm just anointed common sense. Somebody is going to leave here on Friday, and you ask them, what did you get? They got nothing. All they remembered was somebody's hair, somebody's lipstick, somebody's eyelashes, and somebody too would get a deposit that would set them up for life. One time I was flying in an aircraft, and I was sitting in a particular space, and beside me was a man who kept asking the flight attendant, can I have one more? Can I have one more? Can I have one more? So he kept having his one more. You know what I'm talking about. the Spirit without the Holy. It just kept having one more glass, one more bottle, one more glass. We were all in the same space. I was busy reading. Then there was another woman beside me. I think she was watching a movie, and she was so excited, she was laughing. Then I said to myself, we're all sitting in the same space, but we're all in different places. Somebody's really boozing, another is reading, another is laughing. So right now, make sure that the space that you are in is for you alone. Don't let anybody violate your space. I see some leaders coming in, so I'm going to let them sit. Then anyway, let's go ahead so I don't waste your time. But listen, make a determination that iYES 2022 is going to be life transforming for you. Every year I've admonished you, I have encouraged you. Get something. Sometimes it's somebody's one statement that will ignite something on the inside of you. You may not remember everything that is said here, but maybe something you observed, something somebody said, the way somebody carried themselves, somebody's story. Let something happen on the inside of you. Determine that these 3 days is not just for you to be entertained, but for you to be empowered. Because sometimes we are a generation that have been over-entertained. You need empowerment. You're not just here for information, but you are here for transformation. You want to be transformed. So all the speakers, all the preachers, all the presenters, they are coming with something for you. So determine that one day, when you write your own story or somebody else writes your story, there will be a place where iYES 2022 is mentioned. The theme for this year is mind shift. It's powerful. And thank you, CEO, thank you, Dent. It's powerful, mind shift. Let me tell you a story. A man walked into a tattoo parlor to have a tattoo made. When he got to his turn, the man asked him, "What do you want us to write on your arm?" And he said, "Tattoo, born to lose." Say, just tattoo, born to lose. Well, the guy wanted his money, so he designed a very nice born to lose. And after he had finished, he paid and he left. And people were like, how on earth would a person pay for them to tattoo born to lose on his arm? And a wise person amongst the people said, before he had born to lose on his arm, he had born to lose on his mind. Failure and success starts from your mind. That is why your mind is such a terrible thing to waste. And so this week, make sure that you are going to have a mind shift, because the mind is one of the greatest mysteries of life. The mind is powerful. The mind will take you places that aircrafts will not be able to take you. The mind is your gold mine for your tomorrow and your today. Your mind, ladies and gentlemen, is what is going to put you over in life. Yes, sadly, the mind is possibly the most misunderstood, misused, and underused gift that God ever gave to you. Your mind empowers you to think, to speak, and to act in certain ways. Which means your mouth will never say anything without your mind giving its permission. Your mind is very important. It empowers you to reason, to understand, to make judgments. So please, don't let anybody control your mind. Don't let anybody set the temperature for your mind. Because your mind is your factory for ideas. You are the sum total of your dominant thoughts. That is why you must never allow your mind, your brain, your thoughts to become somebody's football field. Guard your mind, protect your mind. Be very careful what you put into your mind. In fact, it may surprise you to understand that your body is a servant of your mind. Your body will never go where your mind has not first been. Never forget that. It's very important. So determine that some things are going to shift in your mind. You know, for some of you, we are going to take your brains out. We are going to wash it. Then we're going to put it back. Others, we are going to bring some antivirus material to devirus you, because you have been having stinking thinking. That is what is giving you stinking living. So we are going to devirus you, and for some of you, maybe deworm you. Whatever we have to do, we are going to help you, because too many of you have your hard disk, your mind. It has been corrupted by too many things. So we are going to really help you. Now, let me tell you another story. Maybe I'll tell you just 3 stories, then I'll sit down. Around 300 BC, I wasn't born then, just before I was born. Around 300 BC, the great leader, General Alexander the Great, I'm sure if you went to any good schools, they might have talked to you about that. And I like how Dentar said it, that we must learn to tell our own stories. Africa must learn to tell their own stories. The South African says that until lions have their own historians, the story about the hunt will always be told to glorify the hunter. We must be proud of our stories. We must tell our stories. I hope you don't mind me. Sometimes I use my life story. Because, I've lived in America for a little while, and sometimes you go to places and you talk. Occasionally, the first thing people ask you, where do you come from? And normally when people ask me where I come from, I tell them I come from Atlanta. In fact, I try to say it like people from Atlanta. I come from Atlanta. Where do you come from? Atlanta? So we went to a send-off party for Dr. H.B. Langdon, focused on the family at Colorado. And that evening there was a banquet, and I think my wife and I were the only black people there. So I knew it was going to happen. So I warned my wife that today my thing will come. So in case it comes, forgive me before we go there. She said, don't go and start your thing. I said, well, it's not my fault if they bring it out. It's because somebody is going to ask me where I come from. So we sat at the table, then just like a prophecy. We're talking, and the man said, where do you come from? And I said, oh, Atlanta. He said, no, originally from Atlanta. And I said, why are you asking? He said, well, your accent. And my wife knew it was coming. She was stamping on my feet because it was. So normally I don't like to raise my voice, but I wanted to create a little scene. So I said, I don't have an accent. I said, oh God. I said, I don't have an accent. Then the guy said, oh, sorry. I said, yeah, you were asking me about, I don't have an accent. If you come to where I come from, you have the accent. Oh, you didn't get it. Now your people are too dull. you have the accent. It's like you go to Nigeria, where people worship, they call it church. You go to Kenya, they say church. You go to Ghana, it's church. So whichever one, you should be confident in yourself. No be so? So, Alexander the Great, I understand he was about 33 years before he died, and one time he was crying because there were no more worlds to conquer. Now, Alexander was marching his army across Asia Minor. He was conquering one nation after the other. One nation, his army was powerful. They conquered every opposition. And every time they were going to another place, he would send an advance team to go and scout the place, see how the terrain is, see how the people. And they had maps that Greek cartographers had designed for them. They had done their maps, because if you are traveling somewhere having been, you must have maps. And so one time they got to the Himalayas mountains, and right after that they were going to enter into India. Alexander was in his tent when the advance party came. They were dismayed, they were in consternation, they were discouraged, they were fearful. And he asked them, what is going on? And they said, well, General, we've gotten to this place and we have checked it against the map, and the place doesn't appear on the map that we have. And so we even realize that we have much beyond the map that we have. And listen to what Alexander the Great said. He said, mediocre armies always stay in known areas. Truly great armies march off the map. I've come this afternoon briefly to encourage somebody, admonish somebody, learn to march off your map. March off your map. It's very important because we all march in life. We traverse in life based on maps that different map makers have drawn for us. Several cartographers, they have drawn map according to their limitations. And people's maps have restricted us. They have confined us. They have precluded us from going beyond our present limitations into a place where we can, where we will, and where we must. Some of the false map makers have been parents. The young man said it, sometimes in a culture where the elderly are always wise. Last Sunday, I told my church people that I'm yet to meet a parent who will tell their children, when I was in school, all the exams I took, I was last. Every parent was first. Even when they are first from the bottom, they are still first. Anybody know some parents? No, they'll be watching you. Don't raise your hand. Don't spoil it. You might not have your school fees next time. But sometimes our parents can draw maps for us and tell us that in our family, we don't do this, we don't do that, we don't do this. You can't go here, you can't overgo there. But I'm here to make an announcement that every map that your parents have drawn for you, according to their limitation and their little thinking, after iYES 2022, you are going to walk off the map and go into uncharted territories. Whatever you are, whatever you determine to be, let nobody's map contain you and confine you. The fact that they couldn't save 10 cities doesn't mean that you cannot save 11 cities. Any invisible line of limitation, today, break it, walk off the map, color outside the lines, dare to be different, and become everything that God has ordained for you to be. Hear me, hear me. Some years back, I lived in the United Kingdom. A man left home in the morning as the Minister for Finance. He was the Chancellor of the Exchequer, John Major. He left and he went to work. He kissed his wife, Norma Major, and went to work. And in about 6-7 hours, because of some political horse trading and jostling, they got Margaret Thatcher out, and then John Major became the Prime Minister. The wife hadn't watched the television. She didn't know what was going on. BBC traveled very quickly to the constituency, went to John Major's house and met Mrs. Major and said, "Do you know that you are the wife of the Prime Minister?" She said, "No, I'm the wife of the Finance Minister, the Chancellor of..." They said, "No, your husband has just become the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom." She said, No. I am my husband, John Major." They said, "Okay, you turn on the TV and see." And when she turned on the TV, she realized the husband, who left home a few hours as a finance minister, has become a prime minister. But this is why it gets interesting. Wait, before you cry. This is what the woman said. From her mouth, I heard it. She was like shocked, and she said, "Things like this don't happen to people like us." Maybe there's somebody here, because of your family pedigree, the color of your skin, your gender, your past, people have labeled you that things like this can happen to people like you. I'm here to make an announcement that it is a map that has been drawn for you. Walk off that map, because things like this can happen to people like you. You don't have to come from a royal family or have a huge name to become a president. I can smell and I can sense that from this room there is an army rising. They don't know you. You may not have the best looks. You may not have the best height. Whatever it is, you can walk up the map that parents have put for you and become everything that God has ordained for you. If that is you, say, "I will." Some of you, your map has been drawn by friends. I'm sure that one has been addressed already, but let me tell you something. As you grow in life and you determine to become everybody, understand that not everybody is qualified to sit at the front row seat of your life. All your Facebook friends are not friends. You got to understand. Don't validate yourself by the fact that Mark Zuckerberg has given you 5,000 friends. How many of them came to your birthday? How many of you blessed? Some of you, you are so mentally weak that you want everybody to be your friend. The more friends you have, the more troubles you have. You must have layers in your life and walk through life and understand that it is better to walk alone than to walk in the company of people who... I hope I'm talking to somebody. I hope I'm talking to somebody. You must have some mental toughness. Forgive the crudeness of my terminology. Some sheer bloody-mindedness to understand that you were born alone and you will die alone. And somewhere in between, there may be some people who come into your life. Some will come as a lesson. Some will come as a reason. Whichever it is, give everybody a chance. But know who your friends are. Don't be afraid. A farmer went out somewhere in the Serengeti in East Africa and found a lioness dead. And beside the lioness was a little cub, lion cub, Simba. The mom was dead. I think she has been injured in a fight. So the farmer took this little lion cub and brought it home. The man raised a lot of goats and sheep and things, so he added the little lioness to his herd of goats. So the lioness grew up thinking it was a goat. Bear like a goat. Jumped about like a goat. Played like a goat. Felt it was a goat because it was in a goat environment. Listen very carefully. Your environment will change you before you change your environment. That is why you've got to be very careful. You know, the coat of arms, Ghana, it says freedom and justice. You have the freedom to choose your associations. It's very important. If somebody's not going up with you, why stay down with them? So this little lion thought it was a goat. And one day they were eating grass and grazing, and they hear a roar. And they looked up and they see this lion coming, and all of them ran, including the little lion. It also ran and asked his fellow goats that, what is that we saw? They told her, this is the king of the jungle. He's wild, he's powerful, he can tear everything apart. Everybody's afraid of its roar. And by the way, you can never be like it. So lion thought, okay, I can never be like that. So this lion started growing, and he grew a mane, became powerful. But on his mind, he thought that he was nothing but a goat. That is why it's important the company that you keep, because people will form your thinking. One day, I don't even know whether to call it goat lion or lion goat. lion goat is better. Goat lion, lion goat. Which one is better? Let's see. How many of you like goat lion? How many of you like lion goat? Okay, lion goat. The thing is called lion goat. Since we have Lion King, so this is lion goat. It went to drink in a brook, in a little water that was quite, placid. And the moment it saw its image in the water, it jumped back. Like, whoa. That's the thing that wants to eat me that I saw the other day and ran away. Why is he looking at me? Then he went again and looked at it. He did the thing. Then he realized, that is me. So he looked at his brother goats, the goatees and the goatess. You know, when they are female, they are goatess. When they are male, they are goatees. You know, when they are cousins, goatras. You know, but looked at it, they said, it looks like I'm different from these ones. So one day, they were eating grass again. Then they heard a roar and saw this mighty lion coming, looked at itself and said, I look at this one, I don't look like these goats again. And the goats were saying, come on, let's run, let's escape. But the other big lion was saying, come with me. You don't belong among goats. You belong among the king of the jungle. And the last time was the last time that this goat accompanied the goat head. He joined forces with his brother, the other lion, and became everything. Sometimes in this life, the only price you need to pay in order to discover your greatness is to forsake some goats in your life and join the company of people whose minds are stamped with greatness, who are determined that I can, I must, and I will. This is a hot potato, but I will touch it. And somebody keep me alive for security reasons. Sometimes maps in Ghana have been drawn by pastors and churches. I knew to be quiet. I wrote in my notes, they'll keep quiet. Because sometimes we have allowed religion to put us in a pigeonhole where we can't even become everything that God has ordained for us to be. Hear me, I am not against the church. I've spent about 40-something of years of my life serving the church. I love the church. I've given myself to the church. I'll still give myself until my last breath. I will serve the church in the whole world. But I am here to say, ladies and gentlemen, that sometimes the church has not helped us. They have drawn maps of and have told us we can't do there, we can't go here, we can't dress like this, we can't put on makeup, we can't extend our eyelashes. In the name of everything that is holy, walk up the religious map and become everything that God has ordained for you. Pastor Brian, I realized some years back that even for me being a church person was limiting me. Because anytime I'm introduced as Reverend whatever, the walls come up. Because one time, somebody had come to repair something in my home. And in our conversation, he found out I was from Ghana. So we started, he was a Caribbean. And so we started having a conversation. And he said, I've been in Ghana before. I love Ghana. I've learned some few words in Ghana. And you know when you travel to foreign lands and they want to teach you, they tell you the very bad words. So I said, what did you learn? Oh my God. The things that were coming out of the man's mouth. I had to go and take a shower. Like, whoa! They say, what does that mean? Then I'll give him a different translation. He will say it in King James. I'll say it in New International Version. I can't say some of them here. I mean, it's crazy. So we were having fun. We were sharing ideas. I was learning so much from him, apart from all the things he was painting my house blue, you know. And then my phone went off, and I picked up, and somebody said, I think the person said, may I speak to Pastor Frank? I said, oh, this is Pastor Frank. How may I help you? So I think something checked. Then after I finished and I hung up, the man didn't talk to me again. He went quiet. And I said, buddy, what's up? He said, you are a pastor. And you didn't tell me, and I'm saying all these buzzwords. And that was the end of the conversation. So I made up my mind. I'm going to walk off some maps. And the first thing was to drop the reverend, because even the REV, I don't know whether it's reverse gear or anything. So I drop it. So I introduced myself. My name is Frank Ofosu Appiah. I'm Frankie baby. I'm a cool dude in a loose mood, Holy Ghost filled, born again to the bone. But at the end of the day, I want to connect with people, speak their language. So I began to stop speaking King James and walk off the map. So for all of you whose ringtone is always, I declare in the name of the Lord. For everybody, your messages, please, I'm sorry I can't take your message right now. But since Jesus died on the cross, if you will leave a message, can you resign from the foolishness and just be, tell somebody be yourself and walk off the map. Thank you very much. We want to shift some minds today. Am I talking to somebody? For some, your map is your past experiences. Listen, stop worshiping at the altar of your past experiences. The past is a cancel check. The future is a promissory note. Today is the real cash in your hand. Spend it. Let your experiences become a manuscript that other people will read. Don't let it become a mausoleum where you bury your dreams. Don't let it become a museum where people come and lament for you. Let it be a manuscript, and let them know that I may carry scars. Scars are the marks of a champion. If I have a scar, it means that what came to kill me haven't killed me again. If I have a scar, then it means that I survived something and I am still here. Stop putting makeup over your scars. Let people know that I fell, but I am here again. I missed it, but I'm here again. I made a mistake, and so what? Because failure is often incubated in the womb. I beg your pardon. Success is often incubated in the womb of failure. Falling down doesn't make you a failure. It is staying there that makes you a failure. So in the name of everything that is holy, get up one more time and let people know that I carry scars, but they are scars of a champion. Walk up the map of your past experiences. Sometimes it's the map of your schools. How I wish. I think I don't know too much about all that, but I think this nation has a new education minister from America or something. I think people must be bold. Maybe some politician must. People must be bold to tackle things that are obsolete. Things that are obsolete. We should be bold to face these things, straight off, because we have been colonized for too long, and there are some things that don't just work for Africa. We are not an extension of somebody's culture. Every culture has their merits and their demerits. We must learn to celebrate the merits of our African culture, our Africanness. God didn't make a mistake by making you an African. Listen, if I died 100 times and I came back 101 times, 102 times, I want to come as a Ghanaian. I am proudly Ghanaian. I walk with my Ghana passport. I feel proud. I don't know about those who want to denigrate Ghana and think that Ghana is going to hell in a handbasket, but I believe that there's nothing wrong with Ghana that cannot be fixed with what is right with the youth of Ghana. You can make a difference. You can write our name. Oh boy. Pastor Brian, thank you for putting this in here, because I see some fires on some people's belly that we will change Ghana. Listen, forget about the people that have let you down. Forget about those people who only came to fill their bellies, and roll up your sleeves and say, a new Ghana is rising from iYES 2022. We may not have all the money, we may not have all the clout, but we have something. We have passion, we have fire, we have determination. We are walking up the map, and we are going to plant a new Ghana that will rise as a star in Africa one more time. For some, the maps, they've been drawn by your mindset. Limited mindsets have created mental. Listen, for many of you, what is holding you back are not metal chains, they are mental chains. You have drawn bone to loose on your mind before it's manifesting on your hand. Today, and in these 3 days, all the speakers, the presenters, they are going to remove the chains layer after layer, one after the other, for you to become everything. Listen, if you're going to stand out, if you're going to make waves, if you're going to affect your generation, if you're going to become everything that you were born into this world to be, then you've got to march off the map. Leave the crowded area of little thinking. I don't know who. I think it was CEO who said it. Listen, the group that you play in, those 5 people around, is very important. Listen, if you are the smartest person amongst your friends, you don't belong there. If you are the smartest person in your group, you don't belong there. Who is going to challenge you? Who is going to pull anything out of you? When you have become a village champion. Every village has their champion until they come to the city and they see their lives. Say, hey. Then they join the Ministry of Admiration. Listen. Oh, I didn't ask you to clap, so if you are clapping, clap for Pastor Brian. Listen, Pastor Brian, I read the other day that mental disease is very important. I don't know if you present some of them because people are going through a whole lot of things. And I read the other day in America that 1 out of every 4 people have a form of mental illness. One. So I told my church that if you're in a group of 4 and 3 of them look normal, no, I won't continue. Let me just do my thing. There's no church. There's no church. But how many of you are getting blessed? In the next 10 minutes, I'll step out of your way. But listen, I want to enlist you. I want you to be enrolled in an elite army who are not common. People who cannot be easily explained. Because hear me, iYES. If your enemies and your detractors can explain you easily with that line, you are too common. You must be able to defy the ability of people to explain you away. And that is why you must walk off the map. And I think for a few of the years that I've had the opportunity to share with you, I've often used a man, one of my great heroes in history, in the Bible, who marched off a map and became a world movement. He is often my blueprint. He is from an obscure, unsung, limited background. But he marched off a lot of maps to become one of the most revered figures in the world. He represents greatness. He represents resilience. He represents faith. He represents a whole lot of things in the 3 major religions, for Christians, for Jews, for Muslims. Abraham is a father. And I'm not going to read the Bible as iYES. So tonight, Prophet Kofi Odro will come, and whether you want to listen or not, you will listen. You will tear. Tonight you will tear. Oh, you will tear. You will tear. When Pastor Brian told me that I will speak in the evening, he said 2 speakers. I said, who is that? He said, Kofi. I said, then let me speak first. Let me speak for just 15 minutes and just tear. Because after him, what can I say again? So get ready. Listen, you will come and tear. So if Prophet Odro is listening, I'll be coming to tear him. But Abraham, when you read his story, the Bible says that God said to him, he was an idol worshiper. He was a business person, according to historians. And the Lord said to him, get out of your comfort zone, get out of your family, get out of your culture, walk away from the map and become everything that I want you to be. Abraham was a no-hoper, but God appeared to him and brought something unstoppable that would touch the whole world. I dare say this to somebody, that this week, these 3 days, today, tomorrow, Friday, at your night, somebody is going to have an encounter with God. God will appear to you, but not in ways that religion has taught you. Because we read about Moses having a burning bush experience, and somehow we think that God must always speak to us out of a burning bush, and mostly in a baritone voice. What is it about us that God must always speak like a man? My son. My son. So there's no female part of God. You see how our little-mindedness is killing us? And so God can talk to us. Listen, the burning bush that Moses saw was not a miracle. It wasn't a miracle. It was a common phenomenon in that area where the place was tinder dry. So bushes caught fire. The miracle was that it was burning and yet was not consumed. So he had to take somebody out of the ordinary to have an inquisitive mind to notice that this thing has been burning, but for all the days that have been going around, all the other bushes have been consumed, but this one has not been consumed. And so the book says that when God saw that, he had turned aside holy curiosity. You must stop looking at things on the ordinary side and have some holy curiosity. Check it out. When God saw that, then God engaged him. These 3 days, have some holy curiosity and let God use some of the presenters. They may not have reverend, right reverend, left reverend, prophet, evangelist, whatever. They may be presenters, they may be goober people, they may be artists, they may be actors, but God will speak to them and through them and give you an encounter that will unlock something out of you and give you feet, ladies and gentlemen, that will walk off every limiting map. I hope I'm making sense. Hear me. Somebody's testimony will be your experience tonight. An actor's story. And that told you how it started. She sold her car. Listen, life is trade-off. Sometimes you have to give up to go up. Let me just say this, then I'm done. Let me. Abraham was changed by mind shift, but I know our time is fast spent. So this building was designed by architects, built by engineers, building engineers. Engineers, they build bridges, buildings, machines, and everything. But today I want to introduce you to another faculty with this mind shift. It's not engineering, but out of your mind is imagineering. Department of Imagineering. Enrollment is free. I mean, it is the art, it's the faculty, it's the department of seeing and building something on your inside before it becomes a physical manifestation. Pastor Brian saw iYES many years before this huge crowd in the UPS campus. That is why nobody can shut this thing down, because long before something becomes a physical manifestation, it must first live on your inside. You've got to understand that. So your success in life, your success in career, your success in business, politics, whatever, must begin with a mind shift. It is not too late, because the bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you refuse to turn. The bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you refuse to turn. Take these 4 things and I'm done. Every one of them, 60 seconds. My time starts now. You must have a mind shift from indiscipline to personal discipline. Indiscipline to personal discipline. You must have a mindset of personal discipline. Unless you are living under a rock, iYES, Ghana, you have to admit that indiscipline is a national issue. I dare say, with the many places that my feet have walked in on the continent of Africa, indiscipline is celebrated in Africa. Hear me. A nation will not have order for progress without having ordered citizens. Citizens who are disciplined on the inside. You must determine that if there's everything wrong with Ghana, I would discipline myself for me to be right with Ghana. Shift your mind from the maps of national indiscipline. That is how a nation is fixed, one person at a time. Which means when you have to go somewhere, be there on time. Show up on time. What is this thing about our culture that the more important you are, the more you have to be late? Some of you are late everywhere. And I suspect that you can even be late to your own funeral. Is it not the reason why we see all these posters, they late so and so? They were late. We are late everywhere. Pastor Brian had to keep telling me, wait. Sit down. Because when he tell me show up, I show up. It's personal discipline. I've been flying for about 14 hours to get here. I've had barely 2 hours of sleep. And you're not looking at a small boy. I'm not a teenager. I've been around for a while. I've been around for a while, maybe a little older than some of you. But I've slept 2 hours. And I'm going to sit up and then come back tonight. There are some of you, listen, laziness is when you rest before you are tired. You didn't hear me. Some of you sleep too much. Even right now, it is in such a great atmosphere, you are sleeping. You are very wonderful. Your blessing is big. Discipline yourself. Pastor Brian, when I came out of Bible school, those days, there were no offices, no social media, that kind of thing. Your office is in your pocket, you have your Bible. And my wife used to work in the bank. She was gone 8 hours. And I told myself, if she's gone 8 hours, then I must also use my time profitably. That's when I got all the scriptures on the inside of me. Sometimes I quote whole chapters, whole books, and people say, how did you do that? I don't have a tape recorder in my head. It's just pure discipline. One time I had to tell myself, I had to put my feet in ice and tell my feet, I will keep you cold so that my eyes will be awake. So that, because when I read in Proverbs chapter 6 that don't give sleep to your eyes, I had to look at my eyes and say, you won't sleep, because there's some scriptures I have to understand. There's something I've got to do. You've got to do, you sleep too much. Why is there more sleep after death? This whose thing is this? Paulo, come and take your. Okay, Apostle, this thing is just this thing. Give it to Paulo. He has a beard now. I think let me run and go. Number 2, you have to have a mind shift from entitlement mentality. Oh, I wish I had 10 hours. See, you agree with me that this is killing Ghana? Entitlement mentality. Oh my God. You may not like this, because it goes against the grain of your own thinking. Today, I've never seen a generation so angry, so easily offended, so light-skinned, and all because entitlement. And sometimes it goes like this: I can't believe they are doing this to me. Listen, you better believe it, because they are doing it. Somebody asked me one day, where is God? When I'm going through all this, where is God? And I just stood watching the person. And when they were tired, they said, Papa, you say anything. I said, you are talking, so when you finish, say, where is God? And I said, do you know where God is? He's still at the same place he was when he were killing his son on the cross. He didn't say anything. Listen, if you walk through life with your hands always like this, looking for what somebody else will give to you, you are going to live 365 days or 366 if it's a leap year with disappointment in your heart. But if you wake up every morning with your hands like this, looking for who you can bless, I can tell you, based on the authority of where I'm coming from, that you will know joy in your life. Listen, every morning when I wake up, I have a meeting with myself. I tell Frank Ofosu Appiah, sit down and let's talk before we go to the world. And sometimes when I'm looking at Frank Ofosu Appiah, he doesn't want to make eye contact. I say, Frankie baby, look at me. I want to talk to you. And after we have our meeting, the last thing I say to Frankie baby is, listen, nobody owes you anything. So whether you applaud me or you don't applaud me, nobody owes me anything. I don't wake up saying I am angry because this one didn't help me, this one didn't give me money, this one didn't open doors for me, this one didn't. Listen, many times in life, it is not because of people's help, but in spite of people's help that you see the power of God. One day, you are going to thank somebody that they didn't help you, because if they had helped you, you wouldn't have flown. Anytime you see a cocoon trying to become a butterfly and is struggling to get out, don't try to set it free by thinking you are doing it good. No, it is in the struggle to get out that the wings are strengthened to fly. When people drop you, get up and walk. When people refuse to help you, don't be angry, because if God doesn't speak to people's hearts, they may not help you. Young lady, hear me. It is not every help that is help, because there are some help that after you have helped, it's going to follow you for the rest of your life. Learn to say no. Learn to say no. Learn to say no, because no is a complete sentence. And when they don't understand, ask them, which part of no don't you understand? You must have some mental toughness and walk off the map of entitlement, because listen to me, Ghana, nobody owes us anything. You are looking at a person. Pastor Brian has been in our church many times, Pastor Gideon. I have never had anything easy, even though I try to make things look easy. When I was growing up, Pastor Brian, you know, of the many things that I thought I could do, I wanted to be a magician. You know, children, because the thing fascinated me. How they can take one CD, do like this, then straight. I think how to. I remember telling my dad I was going one day, because I spend my life in libraries reading. And I hope you read, because the one who would not read is worse than the person who cannot read. And as I was on my way to the library, I saw a magician. Then I have to stand and watch the guy. And I remember what the magician said. He said it's called what? Kufilate. Can I say it like he said it? Pastor Brown come and interpret it, this interpretation of tongues. Say, me kofi la tamijra he. Me pe tu no. Me pe kan kama. Me ba be blade. Na se uni me wi akofi na kwore. So those who are laughing understand. Why is everybody not laughing? You know, I used to be an interpreter in our church here in Ghana many years ago before the white man came. And one time this white man came from America. He was preaching and I was interpreting. Then he said something that I couldn't really interpret into the tree. So with my tree, I told them, you have to be creative, walk off the map. So they all started laughing. Then Brody was happy. He said, yeah, So I'm not saying you shouldn't look for help. I'm not saying you should reject help. But many times, understand that your help is when people don't help you. Your help is one something. Number 3, a mind shift from mediocrity to excellence. We see a lot of excellence around here. Hear me. Pastor Brian comes to our church in Atlanta and he comes to bully me all the time because he knows me too much and sometimes I feel very uncomfortable. Pastor Brian will preach and look at me and say, Daddy, can I continue? And I say, oh yeah, continue. They will tell my people, oh what? Because he knows me. Listen, we have built something called excellence because I realize, number 1, I'm an African. I live in America. Number 2, I have a funny name called Ofosu Appiah. I'm not called Clinton or Trump. Number 3, a whole lot of things are against me. Because in the mind of a lot of people, Africans, we lack intelligence, we lack excellence. So I determined that if I'm going to do something here, then at least I mustn't confirm the worst fears of other people about me. So he knows it. Excellence is regimented. When you are asked to come and sing, like Nanajwa, I saw Nanajwa when she came up. Nanajwa is our daughter from Atlanta, our church. You saw when Pastor Brian said, come and sing, she sang and she sat down. It's excellence of honor carries out. Because when they ask you to sing, don't preach. Because if you preach, thus says the Lord, thou shalt not sing again. That is prophetic. Because I can't stand people who come and sing. Then you're holding a huge King James Bible. They come and put it on the platform. A message you were wanting to preach in 1942 that you haven't been able to. He said, hey, please, before I speak, there's a word that God gave to me in my daily devotions in 1947. Hey, where do you come from? They shut up. And even the one that kills me, woman, is the people that say, listen, don't worry about my voice. Just listen to the words in the song. Did I tell you can't I just listen to words? Where do you come from? If you can't sing, shut up. Me, I know I can sing Nanajwa, but it's only in my head. So I do it in my shower, quietly. Have you heard me sing before? I don't want trouble. Hear me. Excellence is not an event, it's a lifestyle. What is it about our nation that you only paint houses when somebody has died? It's mediocrity. It's mediocrity. It must be a lifestyle. I tell people, listen, paint when it's not dirty. Show up when nobody is. They don't say, you're late. You are late. And by the way, habitual lateness is a manifestation of internal defeat. Okay, let me go ahead. Finally, Pastor Brown, finally. From a mindset of being consumers to become producers. I wish I had all the time for this one. Because one of the worst mindsets given to Africa by colonizers is this thing of give me something for nothing. I've seen it. I was born in the year that Ghana had independence. We are not calculating. 30 days of September, April, June, and November, all the rest. Yeah, I was born. So I saw a little bit of the vestiges of colonialism, and it's there. It's ingrained in our culture, our attitude, and everything. So even though we work on wealth, we are not utilizing our wealth. I said this somewhere, please forgive me, I don't say this disrespectfully, but sometimes I wonder why in many places that God put a lot of wealth underground, He put foolish people on top. Pastor Brian, I'm done. Come and continue.
Rise your